This is Lakeside, and this is Lakeside Amusement Park, and yeah, it's not very busy. I've been to dead malls before, but I've never been to a dead amusement park because this is still open. Lakeside Amusement Park is the fourth oldest continuously operating amusement park west of the Mississippi. Denver brewer Adolph Zhang became interested in creating a grand amusement park modeled after the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, and it's approximately 57 acres in size. In 1907, the town of Lakeside was incorporated west of Denver here, and I did that previous video, the 10 smallest towns in Colorado, where I did the explanation of why it's incorporated. So if you're interested in the history of the town of Lakeside, you can check that out. It's only got 16 people, smallest incorporated town in all of Colorado. The Lakeside Realty and Amusement Company began construction on a massive amusement park around West Berkeley Lake, the lake here, and it's been later renamed Lake Rhoda. That was after the daughter of someone who bought it in the 1930s here. I'll talk about that in a minute. On May 30th, 1908 was the grand opening. The park opened to an estimated 50,000 visitors. It was originally nicknamed White City because it featured approximately 100,000 electric lights, making it one of the brightest attractions in the West. It was also promoted as the Coney Island of the West. In the teens and 1920s, Lakeside became one of Denver's premier entertainment destinations. Thousands would arrive via Denver's electric streetcar system. Big bands, dancing, boating, and family recreation became major attractions. In 1935, businessman Ben Krasner purchased the park. The park began its most significant transformation. In the late 1930s, architect Richard Crowther redesigned much of the park with distinctive Art Deco buildings and extensive neon lighting replaced much of the earlier appearance. 1938, Lakeside Speedway began operating on the property. I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes as well. Weekly stock car racing became a popular attraction alongside the amusement park. 1940, the famous Cyclone wooden roller coaster opened. It replaced the earlier Derby Racer coaster and became the park's signature ride for decades. In the 50s and 60s, new midway rides were added. The park remained one of Denver's favorite family destination, despite increasing competition from nearby Elitch Gardens and Magic Mountain. Disneyland, which obviously wasn't here, opened in California in 1955, and it changed the entire amusement park industry. So a lot of change in amusement parks in the 1950s that Lakeside was dealing with. In 1972, the historic ballroom closed as ballroom dancing declined in popularity. 1988, the Lakeside Speedway closed, and we'll learn why here in a few minutes. In the 90s and early 2000s, rather than modernizing completely, Lakeside preserved much of its vintage character and earned a reputation as a living museum of a classic amusement park architecture and neon signage. In 2008, it celebrated its 100th anniversary, making it one of the few amusement parks in the United States to survive for a century under family ownership. Let's take a little walk around Lakeside Amusement Park. So I got here right before they opened, and so they let me into the park, and the rides weren't quite going yet, but you could walk around and get a feel for the place. There was only $5 for general admission to get in, and then I think you pay per ride. There's a system where you have like a certain amount of coupons or a certain amount of tickets for each ride. So pretty inexpensive place to come and hang out. But when it's empty here like this, it certainly feels a little strange walking around. I did meet some people and talk to some people that worked here. They assured me that it still gets busy from time to time. Some of these rides are operating and some of them aren't. I usually don't give too much of an opinion when I do videos, but I can tell you a couple thoughts as I'm walking around is obviously one, it's run down and it's older and you can see the wear and tear here. But the other thing is I love all of these old structures and old games that are kind of sitting over there to the side, and there's more and more as we go around the park, and I just love how they've kept them. And like I mentioned earlier, it's almost like a museum of what an amusement park used to be. And it would be awesome if this was able to be a big business where they could really make it into what it used to be. But I just don't think that this type of amusement park is ever going to be successful again, because people want to go to Disney World, they want to go to something with bigger roller coasters. But for a guy like me who loves history, seeing like this tower, and this is where people would have walked in on the entrance back in the day, it's kind of beautiful, and it's also sad. But I really enjoyed walking around and exploring Lakeside Amusement Park. Right about here is when the amusement park opened, and there was definitely not a rush to ride the roller coasters. And mostly little kids. There's a little playground kind of part near the entrance that I'll show you towards the end here. But mostly little kids coming in and riding little small rides, but definitely not a big rush of adults anymore to come check these rides out. The Cyclone isn't in service at the moment. They did tell me they were trying to repair it. So the Wild Chipmunk here is probably the classic roller coaster that is still going today. And there are some videos on YouTube if you're interested. People have done some, filming of riding these roller coasters, and this is one where there's no safety harness. You just sit in it right there and you go around the roller coaster. So if you want to see those, just do a little search for Lakeside Amusement Park, and you'll see several people talking about that experience. This is the latest roller coaster that has been built here at Lakeside. They built that one in 2023, surrounded by other rides that look like they may work and some that may not. The site where the Speedway would later stand was originally a baseball field serving visitors to Lakeside Amusement Park. In 1937, after watching auto racing on the West Coast, new owner Ben Krasner decided Denver needed a permanent speedway, so he converted part of the baseball field here into an oval racetrack. In 1938, the Speedway officially opened. Track length is 1/5 of a mile. That year, races were held on a dirt oval. The new attraction quickly became one of the amusement park's biggest draws, often attracting 6,000 to 7,000 spectators on the weekends. They paved the track in 1939, and they enlarged the grandstands to accommodate the growing crowds. From 1942 to 1945, racing was suspended during World War II because of fuel rationing and wartime restrictions. They resumed in 1946, and that's kind of when the Speedway entered its golden age. Fans would line up for hours before races to secure the best seats. In the late 1940s, Lakeside became one of the premier racing venues in the western United States. Top drivers regularly competed at the track and earned the nickname the Palace because of its excellent facilities and atmosphere. In the 1950s, other types of cars were added, so they have 4 or 5 different classes competing during the weekend, so a very popular place to go. And it was a tradition for people from Denver on Sunday night racing to come out and check things out. 1965, Ben Krasner died. His daughter, Rhoda, assumed management of both the amusement park and the Speedway. Remained popular through the 1970s as they hosted other kind of regional championships and major racing events despite increasing competition from larger tracks. The end of the Speedway came on July 24th, 1988, and that's when, during a race, a crash sent a car into a guardrail. A light pole fell into the grandstands. 1 spectator was killed and 13 others were injured. Rhoda Krasner closed the Speedway not too long after that, and that was the last time that they raced in 1988. sometimes you see something on paper and you think, oh, there's a town, it's got a few people in it, and there's some history. Oh, it's a theme park, kind of like Disney World. And then you get here and go, is this place abandoned? Well, some of it is, but some of it isn't. There's people still coming here. This is kind of interesting and amazing. And then there's way more to the story than you might imagine. So really, really interesting.